Life is complicated, and Democrats need to be less emotional and more focused. Now, should the Washington Commanders be forced to go back to the name Redskins? Probably not, but, Indians are hip.
Bill Maher just unleashed a truth bomb so explosive that Democrats are scrambling for cover. On the latest episode of his show, the sharp-tongued comedian and unapologetic anti-woke critic took aim at the DNC, blasting their seething hatred of Trump, and he didn't hold back.
Which may be why the majority of Indians never cared about this. Maybe take a cue from them. Should Trump have decreed that there are only two sexes? Not really, but frankly, I'm happy I'm just one of them.
This could be Mayor's most savage takedown yet. Somebody better call the fire department. But before the smoke settles, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss another scorching video like this.
Take stock of the first half of the first year of Trump's second term and make some rational decisions about what to lose our shit over and what not to. Because, a guy came up to me the other day and he said, Bill, I know you're a guy who cares about health. You must be incensed that Bobby Kennedy took the dye out of Fruit Loops and now the whole administration is acting like they solved the health crisis. I'm not. I'm not incensed. I'm sure you're right. I just don't have room.
With a smirk, Maher called out the hypocrisy. He reminded the DNC why he doesn't foam at the mouth over every move the Trump administration made. Apparently, plenty of Democrats have cornered him at parties, eager for him to join their little Trump-bashing circle. But Maher never took the bait. Not because he's given up. Far from it. He's been holding on to a secret. One so inconvenient, so triggering, that the left might need a safe space after hearing it. His silence hasn't been apathy, it's been strategy. He's been waiting for the right moment to drop the hammer. And that moment is coming fast. But first, let's look at a few more DNC meltdowns.
Bill, he's going to put the sugar back in Coca-Cola. Yeah, I don't give a shit. I care about as much about that as I do Meghan Markle's new skincare routine. First of all, sugar probably is better than high fructose corn syrup. Heroin is probably better than high fructose corn syrup. But I don't care because I don't drink soda.
Democrats are so blinded by rage over Trump daring to sit in the Oval Office that they'll pounce on anything, no matter how absurd, just to take a swing at him. Picture this. They're losing their minds because Trump's administration put sugar back in Coke. Seriously. With inflation soaring, borders in chaos, and global tensions boiling over, this is what keeps them up at night? Not fentanyl, not crime, not the crumbling economy, but corn syrup and soda. It's almost impressive how dedicated they are to outrage. If Trump cured cancer, they complain about job losses in oncology. The left isn't searching for solutions. They're just hunting for scandals, even if they have to invent one out of a soft drink. And while they even expected Maher to pile on, he wouldn't take the bait. Here's why.
Also because, right after he got elected in November, I said here and everywhere else I could, he got the White House, but this time he's not going to get my mind. There's only...
If only the DNC would take a moment to actually listen to Bill Maher. But of course, they won't. Truth burns, and they'd rather stay snug in their echo chamber. Since last November, Trump has been living rent-free in their heads. Not by force, but by invitation. Legacy outlets like CNN and MSNBC have practically built shrines to him, obsessively dedicating entire programs to his every breath, sneeze, and tweet. They dissect his moves as if each one were a national emergency, turning minor hiccups into headline hysteria. And when Trump actually does something effective, something even critics should acknowledge, they contort themselves into pretzels just to condemn him anyway. At this point, it isn't journalism. It's addiction. And Trump is their favorite drug.
Only so many fucks to give. And I just don't have any for the Gulf of America. Air quotes. That's how I'm fighting the little shit.
Let's pause here, because this is a direct hit on Democrats like Hakeem Jeffries, Mary Gay Scanlon, and of course, AOC. These are the same people who fought tooth and nail, arms flailing, to preserve the name Gulf of Mexico, as if the fate of the Republic depended on it. You'd think a name change was a constitutional crisis. Honestly, I'd love to be a fly on the wall when Trump strolls back in and flips it to Gulf of America without hesitation. The meltdowns would be glorious. Jeffries pacing the halls, AOC ranting on Instagram Live, Scanlon firing off press releases like confetti, all over a name that it's not really about geography. It's about control. And watching them lose it over something so symbolic, that's political theater at its finest. And Trump knows exactly how to write the script.
Speaking of little shits, Steve Bannon. Steve Bannon famously said that the way you win is to flood the zone with shit. You want to help him with that? Great, you do you. But I'm not chasing every brain fart down the rabbit hole.
That's the left's playbook in a nutshell. Flood our TVs, news feeds, For You pages, and every corner of social media with relentless attacks on President Trump, hoping the nonstop noise will make him toxic enough to lose in 2028. But here's the kicker. They already tried this strategy, and they still lost. Turns out, Americans are smarter than the media gives them credit for. People are waking up to the agenda of a woke legacy press, and they are no longer buying the manufactured outrage. Neither is Bill Maher. He's seen through the smoke and mirrors. And now, he's ready to draw the line, laying out what's actually worth criticizing Trump for, and what's nothing more than empty partisan fluff, not even worth the space in his head.
Therefore, here is my 1/8 of the term scorecard for what actually matters. Turning the Environmental Protection Agency into the Pollution Protection Agency, yes, that's going to matter. All the people who will lose health care and all the debt that will be run up from the big, beautiful bill, yes, that matters. Turning the Justice Department into the National Revenge Agency. Firing all the inspector generals, maybe firing the head of the Federal Reserve. Letting Doge destroy lives here and abroad in a way that didn't have to go down like that in order to slim the government down, which it didn't do anyway. Creating a domestic army of masked troops, rounding people up and sending them off to detention centers and foreign prisons. Yeah, the big, beautiful bill has $150 billion in it for additional spending for snatching people up who've lived here peacefully and productively for decades, mostly with no criminal records. I'm just saying, if you're thinking of getting your car washed, you might want to do it now.
According to Bill Maher, these are the kinds of issues worth losing sleep over, not because Trump failed at them, but because they actually matter to everyday Americans. Economic inequality, climate policy, healthcare. Those are fair game for critique, but obsessing over Diet Coke ingredients or Trump's hand gestures, that's nothing more than political theater. And here's the point. Of course, Trump supporters will defend his policies, just as critics will tear them apart. That's expected. That's democracy. We're free to analyze, criticize, and support whoever and whatever we choose. Maher's point isn't about taking sides. It's about raising the level of discourse. He's urging us to stop wasting outrage on trivialities and start focusing on real, tangible issues. Because if we're going to fight about politics, we might as well fight over something that actually affects people's lives.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of outrageous, horrible shit going on. Not all. We don't have to take off our shoes at the airport anymore. I like that. And I gotta say, I love it that Iran won't be getting a nuclear bomb anytime soon. And no, I'm not saying that because I sat down with him once and ate his green beans. I'm kidding, there were no vegetables. Vegetables are gay, everybody knows that. No, it's just that life is complicated, and Democrats need to be less emotional and more focused. Now, should the Washington Commanders be forced to go back to the name Redskins? Probably not, but, you know, Indians are hip.
I've never really understood the outrage over changing the name back to Redskins. Of all the things to lose your mind about, this is the hill some people want to die on. Personally, I think Washington Commanders is a far better fit for a football team, bold, modern, and free of the decades of racial baggage that came with the old name. But hey, that's just me. If folks want to march in the streets demanding the return of a name that offended millions, let them. Even if they did revert to Redskins, I wouldn't lose sleep over it.
They know that the name of a football team will have the exact same effect on their actual lives as forcing people to do a land acknowledgement before porn videos. Which may be why the majority of Indians never cared about this. Maybe take a cue from them. Should Trump have decreed that there were only two sexes? Not really, but frankly, I'm happy I'm just one of them.
Bill Maher is absolutely right on this one. If you're losing your mind because Trump bluntly stated there are only two sexes, maybe it's time to take a deep breath. Obsessing over every culture war flashpoint, especially when plenty of people don't buy into the latest woke narrative, isn't just exhausting. It's unhealthy. Letting your blood pressure spike every time someone rejects gender theory isn't activism, it's self-inflicted stress. The hard truth is that constantly needing others to validate your worldview is a recipe for burnout. And when the world doesn't play along, you spiral. So why not take Maher's advice and let it go? Not for Trump, not for Maher, but for your own sanity. Ditch the outrage. Your mental and physical health will thank you.
England? I'm sorry, I just can't. I'm sorry. I never thought about it before. I can't start now. Reopening Alcatraz? Oh, for fuck's sake, open it on Greenland for all I care.
I get why Democrats are pulling their hair out. For years, they've cast Trump as the villain in America's political horror story, pouring billions into attack ads, investigations, late-night monologues, and endless think pieces, all to keep him out of the White House. And after all that, he's still here, still posting, still rallying, still triggering meltdowns on MSNBC.so. Yeah, I understand why they can't walk away from the hysteria. They've built this massive anti-Trump machine, and now they can't find the off switch. At this point, it's not strategy, it's a toxic relationship. And we're all the unwilling witnesses. Somebody call a therapist, or at least unplug cable news. Here's the bottom line. Democrats are stuck in a never-ending cycle of Trump obsession, while Bill Maher is over here begging them to focus on real issues. From name changes to soda ingredients to culture war theatrics, the left seems more committed to performative outrage than meaningful debate. Meanwhile, Trump still lives rent-free in their heads. No matter how many billions they spend trying to evict him, Maher isn't defending Trump, he's just tired of the nonsense. And honestly, so are we. It's time to stop hyperventilating and start acting like adults again, or at least pretending to, and that's where we'll wrap it up. If you enjoyed this, hit the like button and subscribe for more videos like this. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.